welcome to our workshop on designing your future career now and on purpose. My name is Bianca Bonica. I'm originally from Romania, but I've been here in the Netherlands for quite a while, for almost 8 years. I'm an RSM alumni as well, for bachelor's and master's. I have a background in business for my bachelor's, I did my master's in human resource management. And along my career, I've worked in a lot of fields, wearing a lot of hats. From supply chain to HR to diversity and inclusion to recruitment to the interviews. And now I am leading a startup, an academic startup, actually also based on campus, called LifeVersity. Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
Yeah? What is it?
Yeah, it's it's to support students, but maybe also alumni, I don't know.
Yeah.
In developing like soft skills like negotiation, public speaking, but also time management and everything that can help them in developing their career.
Yeah, very good. So we basically help people develop their soft skills. You can think of public speaking, communication, career development, negotiation, networking, like you. So what's your name?
Martin.
Martin, like Martin said. I think you're a student.
Yeah,
in the
I was,
university.
yeah.
You're also in one of my courses.
I think so, yeah.
The name and the face clicked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So nice to see you. Nice to have you here.
Yeah.
This is basically what we do, and not only for students. Now, actually, we're not doing this for students anymore to promote shipping the companies because our budget, long story short, budget for students was cut. With all the budget cuts from the government, and we're now offering these courses to companies and young professionals like you in the Netherlands. And my role is I've been a trainer. I've been on the university for almost 6 years. Mostly as a trainer, I teach courses on career, public speaking, pitching yourself at an interview, also pitching an idea. And I'm also a co-founder. And I'm in charge of business. I've always really worn, as I said, multiple hats. And I'm gonna, in this workshop, we have a career trajectory at university. And in this workshop, I really took the most important tools for you guys to use at any time you're in your life. If you're starting your career, or if you're thinking to change careers, or if you're thinking that this job is no longer serving you, or if you just want to advance, my aim for you to get out of this workshop is the tools that you need to plan your career on purpose. To understand exactly where your energy goes, what drains energy, what gives you energy, what is it that your path is, what is your mission statements, so to say, and recognize for yourself when you derail out of that. We're also gonna do a bit of creative thinking, and you're gonna engage in really brainstorming different paths that you can take in terms of your career. So by the end of the workshop, you might not have an answer to what should I do next or what should my dream career look like, because this is not a process that you come up with an answer to just like this, but you're probably gonna start this journey and you're gonna get the tools that you need at any time to plan this. Sounds good? And let's get started. And I want to start with a very, very quick activity of just introducing each other because we're gonna spend this hour together. So I would love for you to know at least your neighbor. The way we're gonna do this is turn to your neighbor if you can. I hope you're even. Otherwise, you can also do a trio. And share just a brief introduction about yourself, what your name is, where you're from if you want, what you studied, so which faculty you're from, and what you're doing now. Then, second question that you have to answer is, as a kid, what did you dream of becoming? What did you want to be when you grew up? And what are you passionate about now? So not necessarily what you're doing now, but what is it that you're passionate about? Yeah, any questions? We're gonna have 5 minutes for this whole activity, so make sure that you do more or less 2 minutes and a half per person. Okay, if there are no questions, then please start with your neighbor. I'm curious to hear from one of the pairs. How was this conversation and what was the dream job as a kid and what is the person passionate about now? What is the person doing now? Would you like to share? You can introduce your partner. Let's see if you remember. I didn't in the beginning to test your memory. Yes? Go ahead, guys.
Pranay. Very pronounced one. And he was passionate about like racing when he was younger. And he worked at Volvo for a while, and now he's doing MBA. So it kind of matches up.
Yeah. Racing, cars, Volvo, they're more known for secure cars.
Yeah.
But still, when you race, they also have big engines. So nice. Thank you for sharing. Would you like to introduce Adriana as well?
Yeah, so Adriana did her master's in innovation and has been passionate about, initially she wanted to become a princess. Then was passionate about fashion, and that's still something that she's passionate about. And she really wants to do something in fashion at some point.
Yeah, I think this is because it's broader, right? Princess. You can be the princess of anything or in any field.
Good point.
So you can see it as you really stuck to your career, your childhood dream. Thank you for sharing, guys. You see, the dreams that we have in our kids might or might not stay more or less the same. And just a very brief introduction for you to get to know each other. It's always interesting to see how the dreams change along the way. We don't have to go through everyone, but now I hope you're a bit more comfortable with your neighbor. because we're also gonna share some more stuff about our life and our career in a bit. And I'm gonna tell you how this workshop is actually structured. We use design thinking to apply it to our life. And I'm curious to know if you know what design thinking is. Some people might know. Yeah, what is it?
I exactly can't explain that thing, but I've heard many times that I'm thinking I've had some courses on there, but can't
Yeah.
remember anything about that. Yeah.
Okay. No, but it's good that you heard about it. Does anyone know what it is? That I can explain in very, very brief terms because it's very abstract. It's a very abstract concept.
I think you start with an idea and
Yeah.
go, I mean, from a thought, you expand in all different dimensions and tie it up with that different like words.
Very good explanation. They start with an idea. Basically, it's the reverse process. When startups and a lot of startups and product owners use this methodology, whenever they face a problem, they use design thinking to come up with innovative solutions to their problems. Basically, in short, we're not going to apply design thinking to a startup. We're going to apply it to our life, and I'm going to tell you in a bit why we're applying it to our life. But for now, this design thinking has multiple steps. Actually, for this workshop, we're going to focus on the three main steps. The first one is empathizing with yourself, your current starting point, where you are, and starting from there, but also defining your direction. What is your direction that you're going into now, and what is that aligned with the direction you want to go into in the future? Second step is ideation. We're going to ideate different life plans. We're going to ideate different ways your life can unfold in the next 5 years. Third step and last step, we're going to talk about prototyping and what it is and how you can apply it to prototype the different lives that we could be. So this is basically in a nutshell what we're going to do in the workshop. And why we're applying design thinking to our life, because business people, startup owners apply design thinking to their product, to their startup, which is valuable. But because this methodology really works, why shouldn't we apply it to something that's more valuable than just a product or service, which is our life? We spend as much time on our careers as we spend in our childhood. So basically, each part of our life constitutes our career. That's why applying this methodology to your career can be super valuable to get unstuck. And I want you to please try to embrace 3 main mindsets in this workshop. These are the mindsets that product owners usually have, because don't get me wrong, they get stuck all the time. It's not like they use this methodology and no obstacles come. Obstacles do come and they do get stuck, but because they have this mindset, they know how to get unstuck very easily, or sometimes easier than other times. And the first mindset is reframing. We all have an academic background, we've all done a research university, and while it has its advantages, it also conditions us to really, really think over and over again and not really reframe situations. So when we're going on a path that's mostly unbeaten, that people have not walked on, we might not know how to get unstuck because we're conditioned to think very critically. So in this workshop, we're going to start reframing some dysfunctional beliefs. Psychologists call them dysfunctional beliefs related to career that you might also see yourself that you're holding, because it all starts with a mindset. Second mindset I want you to embrace is a mindset of curiosity. Ask questions about yourself, about your surroundings, about the workshop material, about anything. Whenever you have a question, just put your hand up and we can take it. Because curious people might have more doors open. Third mindset is bias to action. We're obviously going to talk and plan, and you're going to do a lot of reflection about your life, and you're going to be very introspective. At the same time, I have some action for you at the end. I want you to also do stuff. So actually in our course, we make our students take action from week to week, because we're now in a workshop. We don't have time to actually track that, but I want you to please take some action after this workshop. I don't want the learnings and the insights to just stop here, because this is about your life, your career, and your career cannot be planned with just an hour. So I want you to sustain this learning afterwards and take bias to action. Hi, welcome.
Excuse me, sorry.
No worries. The first dysfunctional belief that I want us to reframe that relates to careers is life is about finding yourself. Actually, life is about creating yourself. And why? And a lot of people say you have to find yourself, you have to find that version of yourself that's waiting for you in the future. You know, just waiting, chilling there, waiting for you to go grab it and embrace it. Actually, there's no version for you that's waiting for you, no version of you that's waiting for you. You're creating yourself through all the experiences that you're living in the very present moment, all the choices that you're making, and all the people that you're talking to, all the insights that you're having. So life is really about creating this version of yourself that you want to be in the future. And I'm gonna give you an example. Through all my experiences all the fields that I've worked in, I've created a very well-rounded, let's say, version of myself that can now manage a startup. I'm not saying I'm perfect, I'm learning so much on a very daily basis, but I knew I wanted to have my own business at some point. And I was creating myself through all these experiences. So today we're gonna start defining the path of you creating yourself. If you started earlier, you're gonna continue that. I wanna ask you, so we're starting with the defining stage, yeah? Now we're starting to define your direction. And I wanna ask you a question. I'm curious if you know this star. What is it called? Anyone knows?
Little Dipper,
Sorry?
Little Dipper.
No. Pole star. We have an answer here. It's the pole star, the North Star, or Polaris. It has different names. But why is this star so special? Why am I asking specifically about the star? There are 1,000 stars in the sky.
It's a change in that direction. It's nice.
always goes
Exactly. It always points north, and all the stars revolve around it, so it's a set direction. If we apply this to our life, the direction you're going in life is going to be somewhere there. And even though you don't know what the direction is right now, that's perfectly fine. Because society pressures us to know, what are you going to do after your job? What are you going to do after your graduation? When are you going to get promoted? All these questions. You don't need to have all the answers to the questions, as long as you have your direction defined. As long as you define your direction, you know when you're going off track, because you know that you're on your path. You don't need to know the destination. And we call this the true north. So we're going to start defining your own true north. And that's the reason why I gave you some handouts. I didn't mention them in the beginning, but I'm going to guide you through the process. You don't need to worry about what's in the handout. The first step is defining your true north, your direction. Before that, I want to reframe a dysfunctional belief that relates to this true north, which is, I should know where I'm going. Actually, what we want to say is, I won't always know where I'm going, but I can always know whether I'm going in the right direction, whether I'm on the right path, and it's perfectly fine. As long as you have the true north. And we're going to do an exercise. You're not going to have time to fully describe your true north in very much detail, but it's a start. And I encourage you, this is my point of homework for you, to do this at home, to sit with yourself, reflect, and then to share it with your close people, the people that are close to you, maybe also your coworkers, and see if they have any feedback for you on your true north. So what is it, this true north statement that I've been mentioning for a couple of minutes? It's like your mission in life, your purpose statement, your I will statement, but a bit more defined and a bit more really about you. It can be, you can literally write it in any way you want. You can see it as a LinkedIn headline. Or the first, if someone gets to know you, who you are as a person, and where are you going, what your path is, this sentence, if you tell them, it's gonna let them know you from that perspective of this is my path, this is who I am, and this is what I'm doing, and this is where I'm going. So you can think of, I put some guiding questions, some guiding points on the slide. You can think of aspects such as, who are you right now? Are you an engineer? Are you a technician? Are you a princess? Are you an enthusiast about something? Who are you right now? What do you believe in? What are your core beliefs that are very rooted in you? What are you doing, or where are you going? in life. I know it sounds very abstract, so I just want you to please maintain that mindset of curiosity. And bear with me because I have an example. You don't have to use this structure. You can if you want, but because as a source of inspiration, driven by energy and passion for people's unique strengths, I actively help individuals discover and unleash their potential. This can be a true north statement, for example. Any questions so far? No? Then I want you to please take a few minutes. Let's take 7 minutes to start writing your true north statement in this book. I encourage you to start with some notes. If you already don't know what your true north statement is, just write down some keywords, answers to this aspect or any aspect that comes to your mind. And then from those keywords, you can put them all together and define your true north statement. And it's not about perfection. You don't have to have a beautifully written out north statement now, but it is about getting this process started. Yeah. Yes. You have a pen? And if you have any questions or if you're stuck, I'm here. If the space is not enough, you also have some space for notes at the end. I mean, on the other side. Again, try to have a statement, although again, it's not very detailed, it's not perfect, but it's. Since most of you are done. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take 3 minutes to share our true north statement with our neighbor. And now, we have a person joining, so you guys can be in pairs,
Yeah.
not a group of 3 and 4. What we're gonna do is you're gonna share your true north statement and you're gonna get quick feedback from your neighbor. What do you think about your true north statement? How can you make it more well-rounded? Yeah? Okay, go. So how, I want to hear from someone, from a person, how was this process for you? Defining your true north and what did you got from your pair? Would you like to share? Was it easy, hard? Yes? Yeah.
Because, you really have to go back like the basis of what am I doing now and where do I want to go, and then you have to write it out or say it, then you don't know. But you think you know, so that's how you look at career plans, you look at vacancies, whatever, but then coming back to it. I think I had a good insight from my leader, but he said, and I want to help the balance between leadership and tends to also be creative, but I feel like I'm constantly trying to keep everything going for the people I have to leadership position for, but I'm losing myself in it. And then she said, have you ever considered entrepreneurship? Because then you can be yourself. Even services are product you want, but still have people take that part of leadership for you. And then I said, yeah, I know, but I keep pushing that part away, and I said, why are you? And I'm like, I know I'm pushing it away, I know I have to do something with it, but it's good if someone else says it. And then now I have a new thing to think about and take it into account and not just push it away. So yeah, I like it, I have some insight, but it's not hard because you have this idea, you try to keep the idea, but why? Who told you that is the path you should follow?
Yeah, definitely. It's not an easy process. Thank you so much for sharing, and I love it that you challenged her. It's all about challenging your perception, having someone challenge it, but also challenging it yourself. And we don't do that on a daily basis because it's not common. We just go with the flow. We just go. We're probably in our career for some time, or just join. We're just going with the flow without actually stopping to think, is this really what I want? Am I going in the right direction? But then it's when you have to define the direction, it's really hard because you're not used to it, it's normal. So it is a hard process, but this is time or the skills to start defining this process now. And what will help is the next exercise when you're gonna have different plans to ideate, and that can be, one of them can be a curriculum. So thank you for sharing. And again, this is a process that requires much more thinking, so I encourage you to do it at home. Also think of what drains your energy, what gains your energy. This is another thing. We don't have time to cover it now, but I'm just gonna give you a very, very brief overview of it. It's basically an activity log, a tracker. You can log your activities, define if this activity gives you energy or drains your energy, and which activity makes you be in the flow, like fully engaged. When you forget about time, you forget about space, you forget about food, you forget about water, you forget about everything. You're really in that zone, in the flow. And try to see if you see any patterns. So this is another thing that you can do. All right, let's go to the second step now, which is ideation. So we really started defining our path, and ideation is engaging in a lot of brainstorming and idea generation. The dysfunctional belief we want to reframe that concerns ideation is I have to find the one right idea or career path that is right for me. However, there are multiple great lives and plans within me, and I get to choose which one to build my way forward with. The good news and the bad news is that we have a lot of passions and we have multiple lives that live within us, but we can only choose to pursue one at a time. But if we have multiple options, we can choose the right one for us or a combination of them and create the right one for us. And this is what we're going to do in a second. We're going to do some life planning. And this is based on the idea of parallel designs, which comes from Stanford University. A professor did a research with two different teams where they had to ideate ideas. They had to come up with ideas to a problem. And one team was given 3 ideas. They have 5 rounds in total. One team was given 3 ideas in the beginning, and then 2 ideas throughout the process. Another team was given 1 idea, and they had to really reiterate that idea throughout the process for 4 more times. What they found at the end of the study was that the team that was given 3 ideas in the beginning and then 2 subsequent ideas came up with better solutions than the team that was prematurely committed to an idea. Because they were already committed to that idea and they were stuck on it. It was just their path. You can extrapolate this to your life. If you're committed fully to your path and you're not sure if this is the right one, or not stopping at some point to reflect, is this still in line with who I am and where I want to go? You might miss a lot of opportunities along the way. So one of the best ways to design your life is to design your lives. That's why we're gonna ideate 3 different versions of your life. And this is, if you open the handout, you're gonna see a timeline of 5 years, and you're gonna see the 3 different versions. You're gonna see 3 different versions. Life 1 is gonna be the thing that you do now. So it's probably the life that you're on now and makes most sense based on your studies, based on your background and the life you've had. So life 2 is the life that you would have if life 1 hadn't existed. So just imagine you are an HR manager for Volvo, And HR managers are no longer needed because robots take over or because of whatever reason. And you need to really shift careers. What would you do then? Life 3 is the life that you would live if resources are no objects, so they don't matter. Time, money, fame, nothing matters. What would you do then? So they have to be 3 truly different alternatives of your life. I chose the timeline of 5 years. So it gives you, I mean, every time you go to interviews, they also ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I was recently thinking that for millennials, it might be too much ahead because things change so fast. But it's also really challenging your thinking to see your life further in the future. And it's not too far as 10 years, it's still quite close. You have to see all plans as plan A. It's not like, oh, I really hope plan B or plan 2 doesn't happen because I really want plan A to happen. No, they all have equal chances of happening. I would really encourage you to name each plan. We call them Odyssey because it's like a journey. Your life is like a journey with people that support you along the way, with enemies and such. So that's why you see Odyssey on the slide. It's basically Odysseys or plans. It's the same. So you give a name to each plan. Also include non-career events and personal events. Because your life is not just about your career, but really try to imagine what would your life look like, career and non-career, in those 3 alternatives over 5 years. And you have 10 minutes to brainstorm this process. So you're gonna have to write some key, what would you do, let's say in year 1? What would year 1 look like for you? What would year 2 look like for you? Where would you be? Where would you live? Who would be around you? What would you do? What would your hobbies be? What would your life look like? Really, try to make it as specific as possible. Again, in the beginning of the brainstorming, you're not gonna be able to fully brainstorm, but it's the beginning. Here you have an example. Of Jane. The first plan for her is a account manager. Second one, coordinator for international projects. So one thing I want to tell you is if you want to be, let's say plan A is, or life 1 is HR manager for Volvo, life 2 cannot be HR manager for Amazon. So HR managers don't exist anymore, yeah? So you get the idea. It has to be completely different. And her life 3 is a rock star. So you see how different they are. I'm gonna leave this on the slide, or maybe I can leave this one. What helps you more as a reference point? This one? Yeah? Okay.
Previous. This one.
Yes. Okay, perfect. Then this one, so you can guide yourself through the process. Do you have any questions? Yes?
So like one kind of thing, will be doing out if nothing changes.
Yeah.
Even though you might already want to say change.
Yes. If you want to make a change and this will be your life 1 in the near future, you can also put it as life 1.
Then I wouldn't have like to.
Then speak to the thing that you're doing now.
Okay.
It's easier for all of the purposes.
Okay.
The thing you're doing now, how would your life look like in 5 years? Life 2, if that doesn't exist. What would you do? Life 3, if nothing matters. What would you do? Any other questions? No? Okay. Then we can go ahead. Yes. So basically, let's say you're starting now today. This is day 0, or this is year 0. What is year 1, year 2, year 3, and 5? Play some reflective music, it helps you. Don't forget to give a title to each plan. 3 more minutes. I know you're not done yet, which is something I expected, but I want you to please stop brainstorming, and now I'm planning. And again, this is the second point of homework, to take this with you at home, and you can even do it on a bigger paper. You need brainstorm, take your time to brainstorm your really personality. I want to hear from one person how this process was for you, and what came out. Did have any insight from this exercise here? Would like to share? Yes?
I feel like at the moment I'm exploring like multiple career paths because I'm looking for a job. And when I was imagining like life number 3, like money and all the like laid out paths suddenly became not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
And I saw that some of the jobs that I was considering aligned more with that life than others. So that might be more what I'm like intrinsically like passionate about. So it's interesting.
Really nice, thank you for sharing. It's really interesting to see how certain lives make you feel as well. What emotions they trigger in you. Yeah, very good. Yeah, thank you for sharing. I see you nodding.
I think I did 1, 3, and 2.
Ah,
It just feel easier that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it in the order.
I thought I was doing 1, 2, 3, but then I realized no, actually 1, 3, 2 is better for me.
Again, this is a framework. It's not, you don't have to take it really as this is step 1, step 2, step 3. You have to find a way that works for you. So you can jump from, you can even start with 3. Sometimes I have people start with 3 or with 2 or whatever is easiest for you. And try to get as detailed as possible and also see how certain lives make you feel and how they are aligned with your true north once you have your true north statement as well. All right. I want to share a story with you. The story of Jane. Jane is from the US. She's been working in a corporation in the US, big corporation, having what she thought was her dream job, making a lot of money, having an amazing life in New York. And she goes to Italy one day, to Venice, and she falls in love with the Italian bistros and the small cafes and the vibe there and food. And she makes it her mission to bring that vibe with her back to New York. So when she goes back home, she quits her corporate job. She creates a business plan to open an Italian restaurant in New York. She finds a space, she books it, she renovates it, and she opens this beautiful kind of restaurant, bistro cafe that gives amazing Italian vibes. And the restaurant is really busy. It's super successful. There are a lot of customers. It's always very often sold out, booked out. And customers are giving great reviews. So it's exactly what she planned to do. She really managed to bring that Italian vibe to New York. Despite all this and all the success, Jane finds herself very unhappy. She doesn't know exactly why, because it's exactly what she wanted. She literally just gave up her corporate job to open a restaurant that she thought she really wanted. And it's very successful. She finds herself with a successful restaurant in New York, and she's unhappy. What she realizes in the process, because she started the process of self-reflection, is that she absolutely loves the interior design and planning of menus and designing the menus from the restaurant part. But she absolutely hates hiring and firing people and inventory management and forecasting. Everything that has to do with actually running a restaurant. So what she does is she sold the restaurant and she went to work in interior design. This is the story of Jane, which started from a corporate job, got a restaurant, and then went into interior design. She found her true north in interior design. However, I want to ask you, what could she have done differently to still end up with the same answer, but without actually going through the pain of starting a restaurant? What do you think? Yes?
Maybe reflecting more on the parts she enjoyed having a restaurant. Maybe.
Yeah, good point. So reflecting, yes. Yeah, very good. So not just being in your head, reflection is a good starting point. But actually when you work in a restaurant as a part-time job, let's say, you see what it's like. Anything else? Any other ideas?
She could have talked with people that own restaurants to see how is the day to day, because it's very different.
Very good. Talk to, let's say, 3 angry restaurant owners, 3 happy restaurant owners, see what they like, what they don't like, what their day looks like. If you could see herself doing that, what they were doing.
Yeah, she could have, like, all the whole manuscript, she could have, looked at different courses to see what she liked, and then maybe she would have ended up with graphic design.
Exactly, very good. So exploring the different courses, yes?
Yeah, but that's the thing that
when you tell the story is that by doing the restaurant, by building the restaurant, she finds that interior design was her thing.
Yeah.
If she starts, I don't know, looking for working in a restaurant, she never would have designed a restaurant to see if that's what really likes her. So I don't know, like that error, she finds her ways.
I mean, there's no right or wrong answer here. It's also this that shaped her path towards interior design. There could have been a shorter way with less pain, fewer resources, less time invested and energy to get to the same answer. And maybe by working in a restaurant, she could have seen what it's like to actually be a barista or shadow the manager to see what the manager of or owner of a restaurant was doing on a daily basis. So she could have got that answer or not. We never know. But there are always shortcuts. There's no right or wrong answer. We're just brainstorming here. But it's a very good one. Yeah, because this answer led her to her true passion. Yeah.
So at the beginning, she wanted to bring the vibe of Italy. So she could brainstorming what are the ways to bring Italy vibes in the US.
Instead of prematurely be committed to an idea, which is the restaurant, brainstorm ideate different options. Yeah, very good one. And so there are a lot of ways you can actually prototype something because the answer to this is prototyping. What prototyping is creating smaller versions of your idea or of your plan. So you test it and you see if it works actually, instead of investing all your resources in it. Instead of, let's say you want to create a drone to ship packages from here to here, you're not going to create 500 drones. You're going to start with one and prototype this idea to see if it actually works. So we can prototype two things, experiences and conversations, which we're going to discuss in a bit. But this dysfunctional belief, another one that we want to reframe when it comes to prototyping, is I should comprehensively research the best data for all aspects of it. Instead, we want to build prototypes to explore questions about your alternative. So, and not having all the details figured out before you actually start doing something, before you actually start testing your plan, but building small prototypes, what can you do on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, to understand if that's the right choice for you. You can do the things I said, conversations and experiences. And it's exactly what you guys mentioned. So I think maybe I have just a few more ideas here on the slide. But prototyping basically conversations. We call them career design interviews. Interviews is a bit of a maybe wrong name here because you're not interviewing to get a job. You're interviewing a person to understand what their day looks like, what do they do in their job, what was the career leading up to the moment where they are right now, and what courses did they take, what steps did they take? Could you see yourself doing that? So it's basically you just reaching out to people, interviewing them, or having a conversation with the mindset of curiosity. The mindset of curiosity. It's not you trying to get a job. And then the second way you can prototype is prototype experience. And this can be by working in a restaurant, doing a short-term project or shadowing a professional to see if this is really the idea or the ideal job, or an internship. So two ways. Now, I want to ask you to please take 2 minutes to come up with some guiding questions for your specific life plans. Use one life plan that you want to test right now or near future, and think of questions like this. How can I really test if this is the right career for me? Who can I talk to? If you think of specific names, they would be even better. It's not just think of specific roles or specific people or personas. Who can I talk to understand more about this career path? And what things would I need to experience that would get me closer to the answer? Yeah? So take 2-3 minutes. You can write the questions in the notes, or if you have some space in the life plans. And then we'll go on.
Additional questions to ask you.
To answer this question, so what specifically, who are you gonna talk to? We prototype this plan, and what experiences can you lead? There you go.
Okay, and then,
You can choose one like that, you can do the same for all of them. Okay, now just. Alright? Because again, to get you started at home, another point of homework, do this for all plans. And actually, more concretely, text someone, reach out to someone and schedule a career conversation with them. So this is the most actionable point of homework, so to say, for this version. I have there's a message template on the side, you can create your own template. You don't have to follow it, but people usually like being helpful. And maybe think of a time when you helped someone, when someone reached out to you and you were happy to help them, have a conversation with them. So I want you to text someone on LinkedIn or a number that you have, a connection, or I don't know, from a networking group. Actually schedule that call with them, that conversation with them, to get to know them better, yes?
We also have a mentoring program at our set, so we have a lot of mentors, they can also reach out to you when you're already volunteers in the program, and one of them.
Yeah, definitely, mentor me, right?
Yeah, mentor meeting.
That's also good, that we can connect over the fact that you're both in our subject. And another mindset I want to reframe is the worst that can happen is that you get a no, and then you go on to the next person. And no, dealing with no's is a super important thing in life, so it's gonna be personal, yes.
Yeah, I use mentor me a lot of times, like most people say yes, but everyone wants to be helpful there. But it's really easy to get someone.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's already, I think it's a very good place to start. I remember I also used it in my masters, and I had at least 2 conversations with people. You can start from there, it's really easy, you have to create an account, but then you can see all the people that are happy to learn or to have a conversation. Okay, another dysfunctional belief we want to reframe is, and closing the loop, right? In the beginning, we reframed life is about finding myself. Now it's actually about creating myself. And the one about our dream job is my dream job is out there waiting somewhere in the future. But actually, you design your dream job through a process of actively seeking and co-creating. So your dream job is not going to be just there listening or waiting for you to be picked up, but you constantly develop it through choosing actively one of your life plans or combining. You can even combine life 2 and life 3, life 1 and life 3. you can be creative and combine elements and create really the career that you love. After you test it, all these. We're almost at the end of today's workshop. What we discussed in the beginning is understanding with yourself and defining your life plan, defining your true north, your path. Then we ideated 3 different alternatives of our life. And now we discuss prototyping. And you came up with the questions for one life plan. How can you actually test that out? I want to leave some space for questions as well. If you have any specific questions, because we finished the content part. And obviously you did all this by yourself, and you share with your neighbors. But did any questions come up? Any burning questions? Or not burning? No? Yes?
I feel like it could be something very different than the thing we mentioned here, like something you actually want to do, might be something different than we. Or, yeah, it could be, right?
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
This is a process to get you started, to think, let's say, outside the box, to think outside of your normal path that you're on. It could be that other ideas come up, and then you replace, let's say, life 3 with something else, or you replace life 1 with it's completely different. Because values change, well, values can change. But passions can change as well. So the way, I mean, our personality is less likely to change, but maybe we discover a new passion by just doing something. And that passion might unlock a different career path for us. So as long as you maintain a mindset of curiosity, the 3 mindsets I mentioned in the beginning, reframing, curiosity, and bias to action are not only applicable to this workshop, obviously. As long as you have those 3 mindsets, you can unlock the opportunities. Good point. If you have any questions, I'm gonna stay here for a bit as well. If not, I wanna ask you to take 2 minutes, please, to fill in, just a quick feedback form. I'm really curious to see how you experience the workshop. And you have to write the name of the workshop, which is Design Your Career, and the trader is, my name is Bianca. For the people that were not here in the beginning, I'll be super, super grateful, because we constantly are something on. And while you're filling out the form, I want to just tell you that my LinkedIn is at the back of the handout. I'll be very happy to connect with you, and if you have any questions or just need a partner to think along with you, I'm there. You can always reach out to me. If you're thinking about career changes or interview preps or are just not sure whether you're on the right path, happy to have a conversation. Then you can put your phone down and so I know you're done with the feedback. That in the meantime, I just wanna, first of all, thank you so much for joining today. Thank you so much for your contributions, for your really embracing that curiosity mindset. I wish you lots of luck in your career planning, whatever you are gonna do in the future. You know, I'm here for you on LinkedIn. We can also schedule a chat if we need to enjoy the summer, the beautiful summer as well. With the plan, and I'm gonna pass it on to Bruno to tell you